Dear students, as part of work measurement techniques, we were seeing stopwatch time study. Now, various other work measurement techniques are, apart from the stopwatch time study, work sampling, analytical estimating, predetermined motion time standards, this is called as PMTS, and synthesis from standard data. Now we are going to see all these things. See, one thing we have covered, that is stopwatch time study. Now the second method, technique of work measurement is work sampling. Now work sampling, this is called by various different names also, like activity sampling, ratio delay study, random observation method, snap reading method, or observation ratio study, and this is a sampling technique. In a work sampling, a large number of observations are conducted at random intervals of time. You see, sampling means, randomly we take some reading, okay, and randomly means not in any particular order, randomly you take, okay, and these observations, you see, in work sampling a large number of observations are conducted at random intervals of time, and the state of each member of the group is studied. Now here a definition is given for work sampling. Now this is defined as a technique in which large number of observations are made. You see, here now this phrase is important, large number of observations are made, and over a period of time, that means over a period of long duration, okay, of one or a group of machines. It can be, you may be studying machines, or you may be studying processes, or it may be studying workers, okay. So see, these observations are made over a long period of time of one or a group of machines, processes, or workers, and each observation records what is happening at that instant, and the percentage of observations recorded for a particular activity or delay is a measure of the percentage of time during which that activity or delay occurs. That means what, you see, it is more like, many workers are working, and the manager sometimes all of a sudden he visits, and at that time a person who is working, the manager will think he is working, and if a person is sitting idle, so see, the manager thinks in his mind, this fellow is not working, he is simply sitting idle, okay. You see, if suppose the worker is going and chatting with the neighbor, then the manager will think it is, he's always chatting with the neighbor, okay, like that, it's randomly he has come, but these observations, but he won't base his opinion on just one visit. He will he will make large number of observations. You see here, this phrase, large number of observations are made. You see, suppose in 8-hour shift, like that, maybe some 10 times, 15 times, if he visits the shop, and he will see how the workers are working, okay. See, so a work sampling technique can tell what percentage of the working day a person spends, and how, that is, how much time he works, what time he spends for his personal needs, and for how long he remains idle. See, when the sampling is being taken, you see, if he comes 10 times, and the 10 times, out of 10 times, suppose somebody is for 5 times, has gone to the toilet, you see, then no, you see, he will take the percentage. See, I came 10 times and for 5 times this person was going to the toilet. So you see, what is the percentage? 50% of the time he is not there, like that. What time he spends for his personal needs and for how long he remains idle. You see, like that he makes a his observations. Okay, so activity of very long duration, that is to find the actual working time of an operator in one shift, cannot be economically timed with the help of stopwatch time study. You see, actually no, if the activity is taking a lot of time, long duration, you see, stopwatch no is only for short durations. Long duration works no, you see, a technique like work sampling is better. Okay, now let us see the next thing. Uh, in such cases, that means where a task is taking for a long duration, is spanning a long duration. In such cases, work sampling is the most appropriate technique or most right technique, which takes only 1/10 of the time required for stopwatch time study. See, stopwatch time study takes a lot of time, and even 1/10, I said it is 1/20th of the time required for the for the times stopwatch time study. Okay, now consider an example. Here is an example in which an operator X is working on a machine in a machine shop. A work study person, earlier I said a manager. Okay, now a work study person who is taking rounds to keep watch on the operator. Suppose he takes 30 rounds of the machine shop in one shift. One shift means 8 hours. Okay, and he finds out of the 30 times, 18 times he was working on the machine, and 4 times when he came, he was setting on the machine. That means still he is working only, but he's setting the machine. Okay, and 5 times he has gone for his personal needs, maybe for drinking water, or for urinal, or for some other thing. He has gone for 5 times, and 3 times he was doing nothing, he was sitting idle. Okay, from this, what conclusions we can make is, it shows that the worker spends 60% of his time in actual working. See, actual working is this 18 times he has worked on the machine. So now of these 30 times, 18 times means it becomes 60%. So 60% of his time he is working in actual working. He is working only. This also can be setting the machine also is working only, but actually productive working, that means where some product is being produced, now that is only 60%. Okay, and when he is simply sitting idle, how many times did he sit idle? 3 times. So that means 10% of the total time. 10% of 30 is 3, isn't it? So 10% of the time he was sitting idle. Okay, that is the conclusion you can make from the 30 visits that this work study person has taken rounds. Okay, so now such kind of thing is called as work sampling. With the help of that also, you will be able to make observations, and you can do the work measurement. Okay, now advantages of work sampling, this second technique that we are seeing. First advantage, it involves much less cost as compared to time study. Time study, one small observation, for that you have to stand behind the worker or in front of him, and you should keep on observing him. Okay, it is a more time consuming, so many man hours are required. Okay, so whereas work sampling costs less. Okay, and it can be carried out with a little training. You see, just for going and observing, you need not be very well trained person. Sometimes the manager may call. Sometimes the manager may call somebody and say, go and see what that person is doing. So he will come and say, oh, he is working with a machine. Next time he may say, oh, he is with a vernier caliper, he is measuring something. Like that. He can see. For that, no, you don't need a lot of training to make such observations. Then therefore it is an advantage. Whereas for stopwatch time study, you need training. Okay, you have to train that person. Training that person means what? You are spending money for it. Okay. Then third advantage of work sampling is it can take a long time and more number of operations which are difficult to measure by stopwatch. You see, this is more like a disadvantage of stopwatch. You see, if long duration activities are there, then stopwatch becomes uneconomical and difficult to measure. See that as an advantage of work sampling they are showing here. Okay, now the fourth advantage of work sampling is even if the study gets interrupted in between, it does not introduce any error in the result. Whereas in stopwatch time study, when you are doing, if something is interrupted in the middle, because of that, those interruptions may cause errors to creep into our time study. Okay, whereas here, even if you see, he went on a rounds, and somebody talked to him, it doesn't matter. Even still afterwards, he can go and see whether that person is working or not. Okay, like that. Okay, the fifth advantage is observations can be made within the desired accuracy. So, you see, if you meticulously record all the observations, you can get a desired accuracy with the help of work sampling. Okay, now the disadvantages of work sampling. See, disadvantages of work sampling is for long durations it is okay, it is economical, but for shorter durations it is uneconomical to study these activities by work sampling. Then second disadvantage is it is also uneconomical if the study is for one worker working on a machine. See, just for one worker you are going and making observations. So suppose if there are many workers whom you are observing, it's different. Okay, if you are supervising many workers or many machines, you can that will be more economical, but for one person it will be uneconomical. Then the third disadvantage is as it does not break tasks into elements, that is smaller duration taking elements, it does not give details of each element. You see, it doesn't you see, if we can only say that that person is working. Okay, whereas we won't say what he is doing, which activity he is performing on the job, on the workpiece. We cannot give the finer details of that work element. Okay, then another disadvantage is it does not assist in improving the work measurement. You see, these observations, if we simply observing and coming, this does not assist in improving the work measurement. Okay, then the fifth disadvantage is it does not give the data as accurate as time study. Time study, to fractions of minutes. You are jotting down, you are taking the values, and you will be able to say actually this is the standard time. Like that you can say. See, whereas this work sampling you cannot give the data as accurately as you can give in the time study. Okay, so that is about the work sampling. Okay, and third technique is analytical estimating. This analytical estimating, this is also a work measurement technique, and it is used to determine what the basic time. You see, the time study also we were first estimating the basic time, observed time. From the observed time we got the basic time, and from the basic time we got the standard time. isn't it? So here also this technique, analytical estimating technique, is used for determining the basic time. You see, what was this work sampling doing? Work sampling is defined as the technique in which large number of observations are made over a period of time. Okay, workers. Only observations they are talking about. Here we are not able to estimate any basic time or standard time. Okay. So this is only activity sampling or random observation method, like that they are saying work sampling. Okay. See, the work sampling can tell what percentage of the working day a person spends and how. See, this only this work sampling can tell how much, what percentage of time he is working, or what percentage of the machine is working, and how much time he is, idling away. That much, this work sampling can tell, but it cannot tell the basic time, or and thereby it cannot predict the standard time. Okay. Whereas this third technique, analytical estimating, this is used for determining the basic time. How? By using the synthetic data or on the basis of past experience when no data is available. Okay, see, they use, synthetic data. Synthetic means what? Synthetic means, synthetic word is used for artificial. Okay. See, that means, this data may be collected from some other source. Okay, some external source, or somebody has provided this data, or if no other data is available, okay, on the basis of past experience, you can, base your basis time. Okay. So now here let us see the definition what analytical estimating technique is. See, this is defined as the development of estimating. See, when the word, whenever you estimate, this estimate comes, no, that means what? You are guessing. Some a little bit of guessing is involved. That means it is not exactly to some calculation or some formula that we are doing, but some guessing is taking place. Okay, that is estimating. So analytical estimating, that means it is getting, this is guessing also, and at the same time it is analytical also. That means, a little bit of both things, will be using somehow, some, some science, and some, some, it is more like a calculated guessing. Okay, that is the technique. Analytical estimating is like a calculated guesses. Okay. See, this is defined as development of estimating, whereby the time required to carry out elements of a job at a defined level of performance is estimated partly from knowledge, and partly from knowledge and practical experience, and partly from synthetic data. Okay. Synthetic data, data provided maybe from some other companies, or some other workers, or some, some kind of data books, or some other, data that is provided by someone else. Okay, this data is provided. You see, like, yesterday I was talking about switching on a button. You see, a worker is standing in front of the lathe machine, and he switches on the, the power supply of the machine. How much time it take, that you can estimate it. See, it doesn't, you need not be a very great expert to, to tell how many seconds it takes, okay, for switching on that thing. And that may not be varying from person to person, or to country, or from environment to environment. It doesn't, it may not. See, such data, let us call it a synthetic data. Okay. So you see, two parts are there. It is partly from knowledge and practical experience. It is partly from knowledge and practical experience, and partly from the synthetic data. So these are two things combined. You see, analytical also and estimating also. Okay. You see, now here are the steps. Let us see. Steps that are followed in analytical estimating. Now collect all the relevant information about a task. Okay, that means what are the dimensions, what are the working conditions, what are the machines, and what are the tools that are used for making that job or that task. Okay, for performing that task. Okay, you collect all relevant information. Then afterwards, what the second step is, break that task into number of elements, small duration work elements. You break it. Okay, now select the time for each element from knowledge, experience, or synthetic data. Suppose in front of you there are two trays, one on the left hand side and one on the right side. Now your right hand should go to the tray that is on the side, and you should pick one bolt and bring it to the assembly area. You see, this thing, it doesn't matter what type of object it is, whether it is nut or bolt or some watch or some pen or anything. See, this time, you see, that means the hand going from the assembly area to the tray and grasping it and bringing back. This data almost remains the same for any object. Okay, so either from synthetic data you can select the time for it, or from your knowledge. Suppose you have been working in the company for so many years, and you have seen number of workers working, and you know exactly how much time it takes, how many seconds it takes. Okay, and by experience. Okay, on the basis of that, you select the time for that element. Okay, see, till now what we have done. See, we have taken a task and we have gathered all the information that we can about the task. Then second is, we have broken that task into many number of pieces. And the third thing is, for each element, either from our experience or from the synthetic data, we have selected the time that is required to complete that element. Then after that, we will add a little time for each element to get the basic time. Add the time for each element to get basic time. Add the times. Okay, see, suppose you have broken it into 5 elements. See, add the timings of all the 5 elements. Add the times of all the 5 elements, and you get the basic time. Once you got the basic time, now what you have to do is you have to find the standard time. Now for standard time, what you have to do, to the basic time you have to add allowances. You add allowances to the basic time, and then you will arrive at standard time. Okay, so this is the procedure that is involved in analytical estimating. Okay, now till now how many techniques we have seen? 4, isn't it? This is the 5th one, synthesis from standard data. No, this is 1 minute. Yeah, that was only the 3rd one. Stopwatch time study was the first one, 2nd was work sampling, and 3rd was that analytical estimating. Now 4th one is PMTS, that is predetermined motion time standards. Okay, now let us see this predetermined motion time system. Okay, this is also a work measurement technique where the times are established for basic human motions, times established for basic human motions are used to build up the time for a job at a defined level of performance. You see, some basic human motions, these are these are used for establishing the times. Okay. And for at a defined level of performance means, what, this is an average performance of a qualified worker, or faster or slower, that is the defined level of performance. Normally we'll take average level of performance. Okay, then this PMTS, that is predetermined motion. Predetermined means, that is which is already determined motion time system. Okay, this PMTS is used for jobs involving machining work. Like, machining work means you are machining on the lathe machine, milling machine, drilling machine, some grinding machine, and shaper, planer, slaughter, and all such machines involved in machining work or maintenance work. Maintenance work means, maintenance, mechanical maintenance, electrical maintenance, civil maintenance, such activities for maintenance activities. And then assembly of jobs, assembly of parts, it can be, various things, from assembling automobiles, assembling computers, assembling watches, and anything like that. Assembling jobs. Servicing, about servicing of a motorcycle or car or anything. You can come service a computer, you can service a TV, and all such things you can do servicings. And office work, and as such jobs, you know such kind of jobs, for that PMTS can be used. Okay, it is used for timing those short and repetitive motions which cannot be measured by stopwatch. You see, if it is a short duration motions or repetitive motions, say in this PMTS can be used, they are saying. And these things which short and repetitive motions, if by if it is not possible to be measured by a stopwatch, PMTS can be used. It does not use stopwatch to measure time. It is assumed that all manual tasks in industries are made up of certain basic human movements common to almost all jobs. See, all jobs, require certain basic human movements. Okay, so those things are used, not the stopwatch, the thing. Now let us see if by seeing the procedure, if we can understand in a better way this PMTS procedure. First, select large number of works doing varieties of tasks. Okay, then record the task on a movie film, micro motion study. See, why we were not able to do in the, you cannot measure by stopwatch, because it is so fast that you cannot measure. So for that, no, you take micro motion study in the, like, movie film. And if you, in that also, if you cannot see, what you can do is you can at half speed, or at a 25% speed, you can run it slow motion, you can run the film, and then you will be able to see the task, how the hand is moving, how how the hand is working on the job, and all those things you can see. Then once you have taken the movie film, you have to analyze the film, note down the times taken to complete each element, and compile the data in the form of a table or chart. Okay, now once you have done that, this normal time for any new task can be determined breaking the task into its basic movements. Like again, cutting the main task into smaller uh, elements of time, elements of the task. Then uh, you can determine the normal time. Okay, see, note the time for each motion from the table and add the time values. You see, if this is already predetermined motions are there, from that, from those tables, if like I said, hand has to move from the tray to the assembly area. You see, that is you'll be able to find the data in the table. From that table, you from the table you note the time for each motion and add the time value for all the basic motions involved in the task. Then, so by adding all these things, what you are getting the normal time or the basic time. Once the basic time is got, you add allowances uh, to that basic time, and then you will arrive at the standard time. You see, ultimately what we are saying is, you see, in analytical estimating, from the experience you have taken those times, or from synthetic data. Here, from some here, with the help of the movie films in the micro motion study, the times are the timings are taken. Okay, and they are saying you compile the data in the form. You see, it is not that from standard table or something. Here, from this from the movie film itself, what timings you have got, you have to tabulate in a table, and from that table you take the timings and add all of those things, and you will get the basic time, and to basic time you add allowances, and you will get the standard time. Okay, now let us see the advantages of this PMTS. It eliminates inaccuracies associated with time study. Okay, if any inaccuracies are there, is the first in the first thing what we said is we will be using this where time study cannot be used, where the motions are so fast that time study cannot measure. Okay, that is very small duration activities PMTS is undertaking. Okay, but anyway, again, no, for an advantage they are saying it is eliminating the inaccuracies that are there in the time study. Okay, time standard for a task can be arrived at without going to the place of the work. You need not go to the place of work. You just take a movie film of the per worker working, and you come to your office, and then you will be able to sit down and you can arrive at the standard time. Okay, the time and cost associated in finding the standard time is less. Okay, because you need not ask the time study man to just stand in front of the worker noting so many motions, so many elements of the task for a long duration of time and wasting so much of so many man hours there. Okay, so their cost here also is less. Okay, and another advantage is it is more reliable and accurate as compared to time watch stopwatch time study. This is more reliable, they are saying. You see, all these things are relative things. In some cases stopwatch time study may be more accurate. Okay, and here this is more reliable and accurate. See that again, this thing is stopwatch time study is helping us in certain for certain activities which may be taking a little more time, whereas PMTS is helping us to find timings where it is like micro motions are involved, very fast motions are involved. Okay. Again, another advantage in PMTS is in stopwatch, we have to find the rating factor of the worker, whether it's working at normal speed or faster or slower, and depending upon that we have to multiply your observed time with the rating factor and only find out the basic time, whereas here there is no such rating factor involved here. Okay. And then see, now this method time measurement is one of the systems of PMTS. Now method time measurement, MTM, is a predetermined motion time system that is used primarily in industrial setting to analyze the methods used to perform any manual operation or task, and as a byproduct of that analysis set the standard time in which worker should complete that task. You see, this is again MTM. You see here, if you see this, you will understand how this is a very short duration. The unit in which movements are measured for MTM is TMU. TMU means time measuring unit. You see, one time measuring unit is 36 milliseconds. You see how fast it is. Sometimes some people will be working working at so fast speed, you will not be able to, with your naked eye you will not be able to say how many times a hand is moved. Okay, so for that you have to take the film, and you have to slow motion you have to see, and then you will be able to tell so many motions it is made. Okay, like that. So for that another unit is used, that is called a time measuring unit, TMU. So one TMU is 36 milliseconds. Okay, or one TMU is 0.036 seconds. You see how small this is. That means if 1 hour is divided into 1 lakh time measuring units, okay, then you can understand how small these measurements are. Okay, so this is about the PMTS, predetermined motion time system. This is the fourth one, and the fifth one is the synthesis from standard data. See, synthesis from the standard data, it avoids conducting time studies again and again for those elements for which exact time values are available from the previously conducted time studies on other tasks. You see, if you are having an office of time study and method study, okay, and you have been conducting again, there is it is unnecessary to be conducting time studies again and again, because such same elements are present in all tasks. Okay, see, now here a definition is given for synthesis from the standard data. You see, it is a work measurement technique to build up normal time for a new job. See, we are building up normal time and basic time are the same thing. Here also we are estimating basic time only. Basic time means thereby standard time. Okay, all these things are standard time. You see, apart from that second thing, all the other work measurement techniques are estimating the standard times. Okay, they are estimating the normal time and thereby the standard time for a new job. Now this is for a new job, synthesis from standard data. This is the title of this. For a new job, how? You see, even before the production is taking place, even in the planning stage itself, you will be able to say how much time it will require for completing this. How are you able to say this? Because this involves this task, and this task can be cut into so many time elements, and each element we know from the standard data available in the standards. It takes so much time. So from the previously held time studies on similar jobs having same elements as possessed by the new job, you will be able to estimate the normal time and thereby the standard time. Now the steps involved in synthesis. Okay, 1. Collect all relevant information about the task. See, here you have to collect all the relevant information about the task, that is its dimensions, working conditions, machines, tools used, everything. You see, this we have been done in other methods also. Okay, and again breaking into number of elements of that task. Okay, then select appropriate normal time. Only this selecting appropriate normal time, how you are doing it. For that, if you are taking previously available time study data, then that is synthesis from time study. If it is from past experience and some synthetic data, then that is analytical estimating. And if it is micro motion, no, it's very small thing from the film, if the timings are taken, that is PMTS. That's all. How only this third step is varying, and then fourth is add all the times to get the basic time. Then fifth is add allowances for the basic time and you get the standard time. Okay. Then advantages of synthesis from standard data. What are the advantages? Time values are reliable. A stopwatch is used for determining the times, because earlier you have conducted the time studies. From that, you are taking the data, therefore they are reliable. Okay, second is it involves less time and efforts to determine the time values. Less time because you are not again going to the time study. Already what are there existing, those things we are using. Okay, then the third one is it is more economical than time study, as it keeps the earlier recorded data. You see, already we are reusing the already existing information, therefore it is less costly. Then the fourth one is the technique is very helpful in planning and control, as the time values are known before the start of production. Even before the start of production, you will be able to estimate the standard time for a thing. Okay, with the help of this synthesis from standard data. Okay, this is how we have studied all the 5 different techniques of the work measurement. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. We will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.